Hey guys, Jarred here up in the brass and woodwind section in Sound Centre. Today, it's my pleasure to be joined by Erin Royer. Erin is a Perth-based saxophonist, is an educator, so teaches saxophone for a living, repairs saxophones for a living.
Yep.
Just an amazing person, and is also an endorsee of Yamaha saxophones. So today we want to talk to you about our little lineup here of Yamaha. Well, they're called student saxophones, but the YATS 62 is certainly not. We'll talk about that in a minute. But these are the biggest range of, so we sell lots and lots of these saxophones every single year. We want to talk about them. So Yamaha have been making saxophones for a long time, 52 years, as long as I've been on this planet.
Amazing.
But we won't talk about that. The YTS 26 retails for just a bit over $2,000. The YTS 280 and the YTS 62. Which is your favourite, Erin?
Definitely the 62. When I was in high school, I actually had the previous model of the 26. It was a 23, which was fantastic. So I played that I actually started on tenor, would you believe?
Right,
so
that's unusual.
In year 8, through to year 10 when I got my own saxophone. And it was...
Now don't mention names, but when you got your own saxophone, did you buy a Yamaha?
I didn't. I didn't get the right advice.
Okay.
And then
now, I know what saxophone, because we chatted before, I know what saxophone Erin bought, and it's a respected name, and we're not going to mention it. But interestingly, because you've climbed the heights and you've played all over the world and studied in the UK, etc., what would you say would be the difference between, because I know you bought one of these, the 62, later on in life. What would you say would be the difference between the saxophone you bought, which was about $1,000 cheaper than a YTS 62? What's the difference?
The main thing I had problems with was, I was fighting the instrument. I wasn't really feeling comfortable to play in the lower register. I had to I lived in Busselton, so we had to get it repaired a couple of times in Perth, which was difficult for my parents. And each time it came back, it still just didn't feel right. Now, having that experience and knowing what the difference was, it's just the way it's being made. You know, the quality of the way that the pad seal was, it wasn't lining up properly. So every time I was getting it sent, they were doing minor repairs, but you got to do an overhaul and something like that. And so eventually my parents had to spend more money, like only a year and a half later, to get me a 62. And I said, I actually want to do this seriously. And we were just like, this is what you got to do, get a Yamaha saxophone. And I played that all the way through into uni. Loved it. It was such a good instrument. But that's my main difference, that I was fighting it. I was kind of hating it a little bit. But all my friends were doing music and I was pretty good at it, so I stuck with it. I'm glad I did. And moving to the Yamaha. Moving to it, it was just comfortable. I had more fun. You know.
Fantastic. Look, I'm in another area of musical instruments as a repairer. I'm a piano tuner technician. I spent, my whole working life repairing pianos. And you're doing the same thing with saxophones. I found that by far the easiest instruments to work on are Yamaha.
Oh, 100%.
They're just built so incredibly well. And the funny thing is, when things go wrong, it's hardly ever with a Yamaha.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you found that?
Yeah, I know.
They're just rock solid, they work every single time. So as a mum or dad looking for a student instrument, you can't go past the YTS 62, if you're looking for a tenor, of course, 26 I should say, or 280. And if you're looking for a saxophone for life, this is a pro instrument.
Yeah, 100%.
Can you just tell us, just very briefly, the overview of the differences between the three saxophones?
So we've got the 26, which is your basic model saxophone. It's the only high quality brand that has this basic model. It's really lightweight, which for a tenor is important, and that's why I started on its previous model of the 23. Because it's a bigger instrument. So I was really small, and it never bothered me because I had that lighter instrument. It's made with the nickel keywork, which is how it's lighter. It's really free blowing. You're not particularly saying I'm going to be a classical player, jazz player. It's just giving you a good sound, nice and in tune. You're gonna play it and be comfortable. Definitely for younger kids. And that's because when you start getting a little bit better at the instrument, you start knowing, I want to get this sound. it's a little bit harder to do that on something like this.
I remember some, you know, have you met James Morrison?
Yeah.
Great guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's lovely.
And great sax player.
I know.
For a trumpeter.
What
But when he was doing a masterclass in our store years ago, he, embarrassingly, I had another brand because I thought people wanted a cheaper option.
Yeah.
And he put me in my place straight away. And I learnt something really important that day, is that cheaper is not necessarily cheaper, because you end up spending more money in repairs and, more importantly, in lessons, because that student, whether it was you or you, they're fighting it and they're not getting where they need to go. So spending a little bit more means a big difference. So the difference between the 26 and the 280?
So we've got, again, as you can see clearly, the key work is different. It's now made out of brass, so a little bit more durable. For the boys out there who got to manhandle it a little bit, it's a bit more resonant. So we've got the ability to have different sounds. Still lightweight, but I can feel a bit of a difference between the two. And yeah, so again, we've got we've got different little bits of key work. We've got the F sharp key. We've got the rocker in the B flat, which we don't have in the 26.
Is the F sharp important? Because a lot of people say to me, like all the old vintage horns, you know. But obviously there was no F sharp. Or maybe that's not obvious. Vintage horns don't have high F sharp keys. Is it important?
Look, there's a reason why the saxophone has advanced and has the key. It is easier. It's a bit more in tune to play. And why not go for the effortless option? You know, why not be sitting there and you're fighting it than having the option to do that? So yeah, we don't have that in this, but that's because your primary school students probably aren't going to play up that high.
It's not marketed at that student, is it? No.
Exactly. So yeah, we've got the ability to do that on this instrument. And then moving up into the 62, we've got loads of different changes. We've got blue steel springs, which already makes it feel different. This is just a nice little thing, but we've got the mother of pearl little pearls. It feels different under the fingers. We've got you still got your high F sharp key, but we do have this joinery arm here for your lower range. So for quite different. Yeah, for the players who are a bit more advanced and definitely wanting to take it seriously, we've got the ability to be flexible down there and with ease, especially when you've got a tenor where your fingers are spread out a little bit, and that's different already. Like the 26, my fingers are closer together. And
because that's a 10-year-old
because kid. Exactly. So for me, I feel a little bit claustrophobic on it because it's small, but for a student, it's perfect. Because I have a lot of kids who have. They're not able to reach down here.
And there's no other manufacturer that actually makes an ergonomically, well, that I'm aware of anyway, fit for purpose.
And something that's in tune and plays well with a good sound. We don't have that anywhere else.
So Erin, what about country of origin? So these two and this one are made in different countries, is that right? Where are these two made?
Yeah, so these are from Indonesia and this one is Japan. So we've both the Yamaha factories, obviously. It's just cheaper labour, I get, you know, and we've got the Origi-Dig Japan-made saxophone where it started.
So you make so this is a more expensive instrument. This is just over $4,000 retail. And this one here is just over 2.5. So there's a jump. So you're paying for two things. You're paying for the cost of the componentry. So this has got better componentry, and you're paying a bit more for labour.
Exactly.
But if I bought this instrument and I wanted to get, you know, maybe halfway to your level, I wanted to play better. I've got no upgrade path here. Can I change the neck on this?
Yeah, no, you can't. So this, the 62 is where we have the professional neck tenor receiver, which allows us to upgrade the already refined neck, which is the 62. So we don't have that here. This is just your standard neck. This means we've got that ability to have a bit more versatility. It's easy to play in the harmonics, etc. But if I want to be like, I want to be a classical saxophone player and I want a solid silver neck and make that, you know, pure sound to fit with the orchestra, I can change it. And I can,
and you do
sound so different. You do, and you do it.
So I was talking to Erin before, and she was going, "I'll bring my setups, plural," which means I'm going to be a classical player. Now I'm going to be a jazz player. And what are the setups? Maybe if you can explain that to us.
I mean, we've got, when I play classical, I find when I have that solid silver neck, I just have that purity of sound, and my ability to blend within the timbres of the orchestra is much more effortless. And you want to sound like your best saxophone and not have that edginess to it. and I have a different mouthpiece with a more closed, refined tip
Yep.
opening, so that I can.
So that focus sound.
Yeah, so it's nice and focused, harder reeds, and then I have my jazz setup with a more flexible reed, massive tip opening,
Yeah.
nice and bright and full, and then I can just wail away on the instrument.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't do that on my classical setup.
So the instrument's the same, but
The instrument's
neck,
the same.
mouthpiece, reed, ligature,
Exactly.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. If you ever want to come in and talk to me about that, we'd love to talk to you about that. But the basic takeaway here is, guys, if you want to be serious about playing the saxophone, and you want to, you don't know who you want to be yet, or maybe you want to be multiple people as far as genres are concerned, the YTS62 is your saxophone.
Yep.
Erin, I'm so grateful for you to come in today.
Of course.
It's been awesome speaking to you, and we're going to go down and maybe play these saxophones now and have a listen to these different sounds. So Erin, thanks again. Guys, here at the Sound Centre, if you want to come in and play these saxophones, please do, and I really look forward to seeing you soon. Talk soon.